Welcome back to the cosasverdes crypto and altcoin trading show. This is a channel dedicated to newer retail investors who are not sitting at their computer for 10, 12 hours a day trying to make multiple trades a day. Rather, this is for folks who are interested in making their crypto journey more profitable, much above and beyond listening to YouTubers talking about the up and coming coins and then promoting you to essentially buy it and not have no clue of when to sell it, or you don't have any clue of is this a good time to buy it. This channel helps those types of folks. A lot of times within the community, I give more specific intraday buy and sell signals, but on this channel and YouTube, I give the general gist of good time, bad time, thumbs up, thumbs down, so you can have a better idea when you're clicking around with your money. So, with that said, Cryptilians and crypto crackheads, are you ready? Well, let's get it. So, I'm going to start with Ethereum right now. The reason why is because it's posturing versus the weekly 10 EMA. So for newer folks, each candle is a week. So this is 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. However, this candle right here is only 1 day in. It's not even 1 day in, right? It's about 14 hours in. And so this week close, the closure is the most important thing. What it does between closings, so all this wick down here, that is a little bit of that's like a couple chapters within, but the real ending of the story is how it closes. That's the important thing. So Ethereum could have come all the way down here, down to $2,000 and closed up here. That would be potentially massively bullish, meaning a lot of buyers came in, they pushed price right back up. So the weekly closure is key. Now you can see it above the weekly 10. Look at that closure. Look how strong and fast and hard buyers came in. They drove price up 13% and kept everything above. So with the idea that a lot of times in a week you get what are called beginning of week attacks, okay? So meaning the first couple days of a week go in the opposite direction of where price will actually end up going by Wednesday or Thursday. So this means that the beginning of the week oftentimes starts red, and then by Wednesday, the buyers really start stepping in. So given that we're on Monday and Ethereum is still holding this line, this gives Ethereum a very good chance of closing a doji red candle or a doji green candle where the body of the candle is more like the one I'm circling right now. That is kind of what I'm guessing. And it could flip green, but I wouldn't guess that it's going to be a massively green candle. But what I do suspect is that Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to be playing around the weekly 10 EMA. And on Bitcoin here, by the end of the video, you're actually going to be able to see on the hour time frame how much price action really is getting in there. And also, if you want to skip right to it, there are tags at the bottom. And just as a side note, none of this is financial advice. We're talking about Ethereum Pokemon cards for educational and entertainment purposes only. So this alone, these closures right here, and the idea that that Ethereum had a screamer, but besides this big green candle, it's staying it's staying pretty close to its weekly 10 EMA, which is under my trading rules one of the more bullish things that you can see in regards to setting a base or a foundation for that next push. Sorry, I have a fly in my house, and I must have not taken a shower for a week because it thinks I smell yummy. Might be might be trying to get its dinner. So that's what we got for Ethereum. Now to go down to the 4-hour chart, the big thing of interest is what I call origin lines. So these origin lines go back to the beginning of price history, and price can see how much price action is touching this. Kind of skip that out because it came up just to test this horizontal. But outside of this testing the horizontal, it's just writing this line. And a basic rule of thumb for trading in terms of is something bullish or bearish, is something going to break above resistance, this origin line is the resistance. We're not working with horizontal resistances right now, although you did right here for this time frame. The real resistance of Ethereum is this line. And when you consolidate for this long at the line and give a test above, 38 days consolidating under with a strong test above, even without the test above, the more and more you consolidate is a better chance that you have to break it. This is really good. And on top of that, the more times you test and break above one before failing, the more times you get above, the more likely is the next time it gets above, it stays above. So what you can see here, what I think is going to happen on Ethereum is this. I think it's going to blast off whenever, and so will perhaps Bitcoin, is when this horizontal from the weekly closure, when it aligns roughly with this origin line. So when these form this triangle, Ethereum will probably end up breaking out right around October 18th or so, maybe slightly before, maybe a little bit after, but that would be my target zone is when this horizontal reaches here, okay, maybe even November 1st, but somewhere, and usually you'll break out a little bit before it actually touches. So somewhere around mid-October or late October is when I think you can get a big blast up. So what that means for the weekly 10 is if Ethereum price keeps bouncing on this, the weekly 10 is going to come up like this, and then you're going to form like a double, a triangle with double support at the bottom as you continue to consolidate under this origin line. And let me show you what this origin line looks like zoomed out here so you can appreciate it a little bit more and the strength of it. So this origin line is the only one that's white. You see that line right there? Okay. So I made that white because that's the current one that price is touching. So this origin line so Ethereum's a very young asset. So you only have a few weekly interactions, okay, with this. So you have some tests down, you bust through it. So this big weekly candle is when it busted down below it, and then you use this origin line as resistance. See how much price plays with this? All right, and then on our run up, when Bitcoin was getting to 40K and then came down, that was your resistance line, right? That's your resistance line. And then Ethereum went above, came back down, used it as resistance again, came back, got above it, came below it, and is now using it as resistance for 36 days. So honestly, you could count all of this as one massive consolidation above this line. This is huge. Honestly, this is really good price action. And the cool thing is that this line is sloped up. So you have 217 days of consolidating on a line that is going up, and you're soon going to break this line. So one test above it failed, another test above it failed. This horizontal is going to touch the origin line, and it's going to bust up. So, and I think it's going to happen in October. And again, that's going to meet my rule of thumb of 4 weekly closures above the weekly 10 EMA or this red line. So this first test down, I don't count that. That's when it's falling. After it falls, I like 4 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see that that puts it pretty close to the point where the horizontal touches this origin line. And these 4 candle closures would more than likely give Ethereum enough power to bust through, and that would likely lead Bitcoin up as well. So I really think that the easiest chart to read in terms of what's going to happen in the market, it might be Ethereum. It's clean, cut, and dry. This is all you need. All right, now let's zoom in to the hourly chart just so you can see how much price is respecting this 10. So see that dashed line? Look, touched the 10, buyer stepped in. Came down close to the 10, buyer stepped in before it hit it. Wick down to the 10, buyer stepped in. It's staying above. Now, will price eventually break below it? Maybe test here, come up? Maybe. But if that happens, that would mean Bitcoin hits about 42 to 40K. That absolutely could happen. I think that's the second most probable thing, but I think first most probable is that Ethereum keeps riding this line, maybe even gives a test up to here, potentially. But I would say more like this back to this origin line. So I think it's going to play between the 10 and this origin line for several weeks. I don't think there's going to be a whole bunch of price action. It might be pretty boring, but the more time it puts in, the better. This is looking really, honestly, really good. So Bitcoin is doing something fairly similar here. And I'm on the 1 hour chart so with the weekly 10 drawn in here, you can see when price goes below the weekly 10, buyers massively stepped in. Price came below the weekly 10, buyer stepped in. Below the weekly 10, buyer stepped in. Below the weekly 10, will buyer step in? It kind of looks like it. Why? Because I think Ethereum is showing the true colors. If Ethereum buyers are stepping in, this looks like market makers of Bitcoin who are hedge funds with algorithms and stuff. I think they're purposely making price action just below to get people slightly bearish, which should mean that the BTC shorts should be increasing. And if that is a bear trap, okay, the whole point of a bear trap is to lure people to take on shorts. Why? because these the big players who maybe want to blast price up, they cannot take on longs unless somebody takes on a short. So, for example, let's say these market movers need $50 million of long positions, but there are only $10 million, for example, of short positions on across exchanges. Well, they need to lure people to take on more shorts. So the longer it stays down here, the more shorts will come. And once they hit their 50 million, for example, that would be the time that their longs are set and they could start buying spot Bitcoin. Spot means when you market buy, Bitcoin price actually goes up. When you buy futures, it doesn't technically push the actual asset up. So they would buy spot, so their long positions will increase as price begins, but they have to lure people. Now, is this a luring? Is this a bear trap? We don't know yet. You won't know until after the fact, but you need to know that it is a strong possibility, especially if you see Bitcoin shorts increasing. And let's take a look. Bitcoin shorts up 27%. And the chaos of this makes it look like these are retail buyers, not whales doing it. Whales doing it looks more like a consolidation typically, something to this effect. So this so this is, pretty nice and non-chaotic movement here. All right, so none of this is super chaotic. This is nice and steady, like they're slowly accumulating their longs, because it doesn't look like this. Right? Go back to the shorts. Look at that. That's chaotic. This is mass market buyers. These are retail folks and gamblers on the exchanges. This nice steady movement here, even though it's up, it's not chaotic. And this is more congruent to them accumulating more and more longs before they start market buying Bitcoin on spot. And again, on spot means they're actually buying real Bitcoin, not a futures contract of Bitcoin. This is nice and steady movement. So a lot of things in these charts are kind of cooking up to the idea that this is a bear trap on Bitcoin, but not on Ethereum, because Ethereum's holding strong above its weekly 10. It's consolidating for 200 plus days on an increasing origin line. I mean, I don't know. This looks like trappy behavior to me. However, I don't want to tell you, hey, you need to take on longs or anything like that. I'm absolutely not saying this. Bitcoin price action absolutely could break down, especially if they say, damn it, we're not getting. Sorry to curse. I don't curse very much, but if they say, darn it, we didn't lure more than $25 million of shorts. We need to tank this farther. That could absolutely happen, and you can have a strong move down to to 42K or something to that effect. So they get more people to take on shorts, and as they accumulate more longs. So that is that's honestly how I'm interpreting the charts as a likely scenario. Is it over 50% likely? I would say not. However, all you can do as trading is you don't just pick a side. Okay, so for all of you who say pick a side and make up your mind, no, you don't. You are going to get destroyed if you do that. So for all of you who even think that's a reasonable comment, like you are just showing your cards of I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right. So in trading and reading charts, you need to know what all the possibilities are. Okay. So right now, I think one of the strongest possibilities is a lot of sideways movement, consolidation above the weekly 10 until mid-October. That's first. I think the second most likely scenario is a dip down to about 39 to 40K with a small bounce at 42K to make a lower high. All right. What happens after that? I don't know. So if that happens, then if Bitcoin price truly does go to 39K, at that moment, I will then have to rearrange my top 3 most likely scenarios, in which if price does come all the way down here to 40K, that means a top 3 probable scenario is that this whole thing was actually a bull trap before Bitcoin revisits in the mid 30s. That is possible. However, right now, I don't see that as it might be the third most likely, but right now it's not in the top 2. Until price comes down here, then it might be the top 1 or 2 possibilities. I think a dog or a cat just popped a kid's balloon over there. Sorry if that was a loud noise for you. So let's go to Cardano real quick. And so Cardano has this green origin line here. So let's zoom out so you can appreciate it a little bit more. So this green origin line, maybe I should. Okay, so this green origin line had support, 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 support on Ethereum, or I mean on Cardano, and then past support becomes future resistance. So now, in most recent price action, going to closer to starting in March of this year, guess what's been the resistance? It's not a horizontal. It's this slope line, right? So Ethereum, Cardano just can't quite get up to it, and now it's using one origin line below. So instead of this origin line, since it couldn't get up to it, now it's testing the origin line just below where you had a little bit of support, that wick up resistance. And since it did not come test this line very much here, essentially what it's doing, it's coming using as support, right? It broke down below this line here, it broke down below, got back above, tried to use it as support, failed support. Now it's using it as resistance. So this origin line of ADA is very similar price action to what Ethereum is doing right now. And the more it consolidates above and below and at it and all that stuff, the better. So it's building up a base instead of a horizontal base of consolidation. It's consolidating in more of a rectangle that's angled at that there. So I see this as one massive consolidation before a more aggressive move up to this origin line or above it, right? So I don't know. I think the altcoin market is showing more strength than what Bitcoin is right now, and that's why I think my first most likely scenario is it over 50%? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if it's 30% likely, then no other one scenario is more than 30% likely. Okay, so I think that's why I think the top most probable is that this could be a bear trap. All right, um, and so, for example, something like a CQT. So this is a coin that my community members are all geeked out about, and honestly, they called it really well. Called it really, really well. This coin got hot as stuff, as hot as stuff. I mean, really hot. So I mean, this started screaming, when during Bitcoin's pump, right? And right now, it's consolidating beautifully up high. It's not coming back down and losing all of its gains, right? So this is kind of representative of what the altcoin market's doing. It's saying, nope, nope, I'm not going down. I'm consolidating until Bitcoin is ready. And the whole altcoin market just looks so poised to blow up. I mean, I see so much healthy consolidation in this particular coin. I think it's going to break out around September 20th, should Bitcoin comply. But even if Bitcoin stays sideways, I think it could still break out and then maybe form more of a horizontal trading range as opposed to a triangle. That's what I think will happen. I don't know if it's going to lead to all-time highs until Bitcoin breaks out, but I think it'll break out of this triangle about here. And so, and during the community, I thought it just got so hot. I was like, yeah, I'm going to sell about here. And my sell line, oddly enough, became this support. So as CQT, I would have sold here, just how many days later? Just 5 days later, it came back to the point I could have sold. And there were plenty of altcoins, for example. So I'm going to give you one example of why this is kind of outside of the typical analysis. But let me drive this one last point home real hard here is that when you sell too early, who cares? Who cares if you sold early? Because during this whole time, there are plenty of coins like Mover that have doubled in price that actually I bought because of my VIPs were during a live call. They let me know what it was, and I said, "Holy cow, this is going to blow up!" So I was buying it around 250 or so, right when I knew it was going to break above this origin line here. So you can sell if you sell too early. You have other coins that are continuing going up, as something like CQT will be doing some healthy sideways consolidation, and you actually make more money in that case because you can't sell tops. You can't sell this top. So pick a logical point to sell, and as it consolidates, hopefully it comes back down if you didn't sell way too early. But and then you could go make a play somewhere else, and now I could take profits on Mover if I did a 2-coin play. I sold CQT, I bought Mover, and then I sold Mover at a profit, went back. Is CQT ready and is it lower, or is it about the point I bought it? Absolutely. You get more gains because I'm making gains in this as CQT is going sideways and consolidating. Even though I sold here, most people say, oh, but it went up to here. Who cares? It's consolidating and I'm making gains while you're not, right? And then now I can go buy CQT when it's ready to pop. way better play, right? So I wanted to drive that point home. That's something I do over and over as well on that's what a lot of things we do within the community is we try to time things, right? So when is it a good time to get into coin A? When is it a good time to sell coin A? Even if it's too early, we don't care. Now we go say, hey, coin B is ready to blow. It hit blue, let's now sell it. And now that we took profits on coin B, now let's go look back at coin A if we want more of that. Is it consolidating? Is it about at the point where slightly lower than where we sold it? Heck yeah. Is it ready to bust? Sure it is. Now let's go buy it back. Now we have more CQT, right? Or of coin A before it pops, and you make more money that way. So buying and praying and just waiting for something to go up as it consolidates is a horrible. I mean, it's one of the. I mean, buying and holding is a good strategy. And what I'm saying here is not selling all of your CQT. I'm saying, a 20 bag, 20 to 30 bag theory, right? And that type of stuff is in my library section. If you're new to here, selling 100% of a crypto every time you think it's the right time to sell, over time, it's not the most probable. And I've done this and I've statistically made data points. I've found that only selling 20 to let's say 40% of your asset when you think it's a good time to sell, and then using that 20% that you sold to move into another pop, and then you take profits, then you move it back into this coin. That is typically the best way that I have found over many, many data points to increase your gains. And if you want more information on that, I have all sorts of info in the Patreon and Discord community links in the description section. So that's what we got for Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin looks like it's being purposely suppressed to lure shorts, so that because for every $1 of short that happens and increases, that means now whales who could be, I'm not saying they are, but in this main idea, they're being trapped because they want people to short it so they can take on more loans, right? And what is supporting that mostly outside of Bitcoin price action, because Bitcoin price action, you can't really tell that. It honestly looks really bearish. But it's the altcoin market whispering in my ear saying, hey guys, hey, this is actually getting ready to bust up. Like maybe 3 to 4 more weeks of sideways, maybe 5, but this stuff's going to fly. That's what altcoins are telling me. When you look at stuff like Move or Solana and all that stuff, that's what it's saying. So now, is it guaranteed to be a bear trap? Absolutely not. If Bitcoin breaks down to here, I will reassess, and then I'll make another top 3 most probable scenarios. So that's what we got. So if you liked what you saw and you're new, go ahead and subscribe. If you do subscribe and you're new, let me know if you want to be a CRYPTILIAN or a crypto crackhead. Those are the 2 crypto pronouns that we use within the community. And also, please hit like and subscribe. It'll help the channel. We'll see y'all later.